Hello everyone. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. The 13th. I know I'm doing a stream much earlier, but I usually stream on DLive between like 12 and 3 my time. So I do plan on streaming on DLive after this. So that's why I wanted to do this quick stream in tribute, as the title says, to others. Or the others, I should say. Hi, Callie. Hello, Sue again. Hey, Matt. Hi, Shadow Dancer. Thanks for being here, everyone. So I won't waste any time. We'll just go ahead and get started. I wanted to do this stream because, there's something that's been bothering me, obviously, or here and there, I should say, for the past, 3 years now. I can appreciate the fact that people in the true crime community want to keep, and hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me make sure real quick so I don't have to do this all over again. Okay. Hey, Francesca. I can appreciate the fact that people care about Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico, and that they want to keep their memories alive and cherish their memories. I fully 100% support that. The problem that I have is, especially going on 3 years now, why is it, what makes their deaths more important than any other murders, or innocent women and children, I should say, that have lost their lives over the years? Is it because it's, such a big, high-profile case and it gained so much widespread media attention, where these other cases and murder cases and homicide cases did not? So I really want to, point that out. It's who's advocating and who's keeping these other murder victims, these innocent, women and children who've lost their lives as well over the years, who's keeping their memories alive? Why am I not seeing their videos of their home videos plastered all over social media every anniversary on the day that they died and they were murdered and their lives were taken? I know what you're going to say. Well, because we don't have home videos of probably these other cases that didn't gain so much widespread media attention. Totally get that. But there's a reason why we do have so much footage of this family. The reason for it, and the reason why Shanann's Facebook account was left open to the public, and as far as I know still is, it's to pull at heartstrings. It's the whole part of the psychological operation. It's to make people feel like they knew Shanann and the girls. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, I feel like they're family. I feel like Shanann's my sister. I feel like I know them even though I've never met them. That's the whole point of the psychological operation. And if everybody knew right away or was able to spot the psychological aspect of it, it probably wouldn't be a very good psychological operation. But that's what makes them so successful. And they make them so tragic so that, again, people don't think logically. They just think with their emotions. And from as far as I can see, a lot of people in the true crime community let their emotions get in the way of following these cases. And that's, in my opinion, that's kind of a huge issue if you're looking for facts or whatever it is that people do in the true crime community and discuss the cases and try to figure out inconsistencies or whatever. So, again, the reason why we got so much footage, the body cam footage, Shanann's Facebook, useless body cam footage, taking Ronnie Watts to the hotel, being escorted by police because his son just, confessed to killing his whole family, allegedly, right? Or from what we saw, because we saw it on video, so it must be true, right? But it's pointless body cam footage like that, seeing Ronnie being transported to the hotel, that really pulls at heartstrings. It doesn't have anything to do with the investigation whatsoever. So why did they think that was necessary to release that? It doesn't have anything to do with the investigation whatsoever, but it pulls at heartstrings. It's sad. Oh my gosh, Ronnie, Chris's dad just found out that his son murdered his entire family, his grandchildren. He's crushed, and then you have that however long body cam. It's not body cam footage, but it's just the video camera that was in the police unit. But again, they're playing a sad country song. I don't remember what song it was. I don't know. Anyways, my point is that it pulls at heartstrings, and it doesn't have anything to do with the investigation itself. Hey, Tam, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you some. I looked up this morning. This is a spur of the moment live stream, and just seeing all the videos being posted about Shanann and the girls and Nico really made me think about it again. Like, why is it that one murder or certain murders seem to be more important than any other murders? So I want to, since there's more than enough people that are advocating and keeping Shanann and the girls' memories alive. So I want to do this live stream to make a tribute to the other ones who have not, where people aren't posting videos about their deaths and keeping their memories alive. I know I sound repetitive, but I started looking up family or familicide cases in 2018, which led me to how many women were murdered in 2018, and then which led me to finding a PDF of I'm not sure why the chat's not working, but a PDF of all the familicide cases from 2009 to 2019. There were 39 cases, and out of, as far as I know, I think there's Chris Coleman, and then there's Christopher Watts, and then there's that what's his name, that I think was a high profile case, and maybe one other. But out of the rest of them, they're all just familicide cases that didn't gain this widespread, high profile mainstream media attention, and especially in the true crime community. So I want to just read out of the articles of their stories and what happened to them, and just show that why aren't they being, what's more important? And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but so let's just go ahead and get into it. So firstly, I just want to show how many women were murdered by men in either a single offender or single victim homicide. Because it doesn't matter if it's just a single homicide, if it's a familicide, it's still murder. And innocent people, innocent women, innocent children are being murdered all the time. Just because we don't see it, just because the mainstream media is not covering it, doesn't mean it's not happening. Because it's happening. So it says the number of women murdered by men in single offender, single victim homicides in the United States in 2018 by state. 238 women were murdered in 2018 in Texas. 238. Yet, there's only one family, pretty much, for the most part, that was being talked about, or their homicide, their murders that were being discussed in 2018. And that was the Watts family murders. One family. Out of 238 women that just alone in Texas were murdered in 2018. California, 192 women murdered. Pennsylvania, 93. Georgia, 74. Missouri, 73. Virginia, 72. Illinois, let's just go through all of them. Michigan, 70 women. Tennessee, 70 women. New York, 69 women. Ohio, 67. North Carolina, 55. Louisiana, 54. Arizona, 52. Indiana, 47. Oklahoma, 46. South Carolina. My arrow will move down. There we go. Washington, 40 women. New Jersey, 39 women. Maryland, 39 women. Colorado, 38 women. And in Colorado, 38 women were murdered. Based off these statistics. It's always hard for me to say that word. 38 women in Colorado, and yet only one woman, maybe not one, but I mean for the majority of 2018, there's only one woman's murder who is being talked about endlessly, and that's Shanann Watts. Who cares about, right? Does nobody care about the other 37 women that were innocent women that were murdered in Colorado in 2018? Why? Because again, their murder cases, their story wasn't displayed all over social media and all over the mainstream media. Again, who's advocating for these people who lost their lives? Who's keeping their memories alive? What makes one murder more important than another? And I don't want to hear, well, because we don't know about them. Clearly, I'm going to show you that you can look up other murder cases and you can find stories on them. But again, there's going to be limited amount of information because they weren't displayed all over social media and the mainstream media to push some sort of agenda, in my opinion. Because there's a reason, like I've said before, there's a reason why only some cases, some missing children cases, some homicide cases, why is it that there's only certain ones that get so much mainstream media attention? Why is that? We're talking a lot. Like, we're every single CNN, every single news outlet, and they're all tragic. These stories are just as tragic as the Watts case, if not more. So again, why is it that there's only some cases that get so much mainstream media attention? And it seemed to be very limited to once they're done, the mainstream media is done pushing out the whole story to get to get it widespread. It seems to be very limited to just the true crime community. Why is that? Hey Monica, hey Brooke, hey Anthony. Hey, Ara. And anybody else that I missed, I apologize. I'm going to try and pay attention to the chat as soon as I'm done with my point here. Okay, yeah, so 38 women in Colorado murdered. And only one was being talked about. Kentucky, 37. Arkansas, 34. Nevada, 33. Oregon, 27 women. Wisconsin, 26. New Mexico, 24. Kansas, 24. Mississippi, 24. Minnesota, 22. Connecticut, 19. Mass, 18. Utah, 14. Alaska, 12. Idaho, 11. Montana, Maine, Nebraska, all 9. North Dakota, 8. West Virginia, 8. Delaware, 7. Hawaii, 6. Iowa, 6. New Hampshire, 6. Vermont, 4 women. Rhode Island, 3. South Dakota, 2. Wyoming, 2. Florida, none. Alabama, none. That's a lot of murders. And I definitely have not seen people talking about any of these cases in the true crime community. And again, why? Because they didn't get the mainstream attention that everybody that Shanann got, or that Chris Coleman got, or that I don't know, name these other, homicide cases that are mainstream that all seem to have red flags and inconsistencies in them. Bizarre, right? Hey, me, Jamie. Here's a PDF of, again, like I mentioned earlier, the familicide cases that happened between 2009 and 2019. There were 39, I believe, if I counted correctly, 39 familicide cases from that time period. And there were only 3 or 4, as far as I know, from what I could see, that were the mainstream, high profile, that got all the attention. And just because it's written down in this PDF, it doesn't make it true. So I just want to clarify that, because whoever wrote this PDF is just going by what, whatever they were told, I'm sure. But I'm just doing it again to prove a point of all this. And if you just came into the chat, again, I'm not saying I think it's, again, great that people care so much about Shanann and the girls and Nico, and that they do want to keep their memories alive. But again, as repetitive as it is, why are their murders and their deaths more important than any of these next cases that I'm gonna show you? And if you feel like you can't handle it, if it's too much for you, then I'll just, I don't know, I just want to give a warning beforehand. But it wouldn't be any worse than, or less worse than the Watts case, or whatever I'm saying. Who knows what I'm saying most of the time? I don't. It sounds good in my head, but okay, so when I went through this PDF, I started looking up some of these cases. And let me crop all this crap out. I can't stand it. That's why I like OBS. Okay, hopefully you guys can read that. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it, but I just can't stand all these advertisements. Hold on. Like, I care that Keith Burns is coming to the amphitheater. What do I care about that? I don't care about that. I don't care about this shopping Amazon. Ugh, I don't even know how to get it. I hate these articles. Hate it. All right. Before apparent murder-suicide, a troublesome pattern was emerging. In the months leading up to a New Year's Day slaying in Lexington County that claimed 4 lives, there were warning signs emerging, records indicate. On the evening of January 1st, a Honduran foreign national named George Luis Chavez showed up at the house of Marissa Hope Reneso, his estranged girlfriend and the mother of his 2 children. Chavez, whose last known resident was Durham, North Carolina, shot Reneso multiple times in the chest, killing her, said Lexington County Coroner Margaret Fisher. Chavez also turned a stolen 9mm handgun on his children, 4-year-old Eliza Chavez and 1-year-old Ezra Chavez. 4-year-old Eliza Chavez and 1-year-old Ezra Chavez. Literally turning a handgun on your 2 innocent children. What's more horrific than that? Doesn't matter if they're dumped in oil tanks, smothered and dumped in oil tanks, or if they're shot to death. It's still tragic. You know, murder's murder, right? Elijah, Fisher said, died from a single gunshot to his back. Ezra died from a bullet to his chest. The elder Chavez, Fisher said, then killed himself with a gunshot to the head at his estranged family's home at 1105 Old Barnwell Road in the Three Fountains community near West Columbia. A third child of Reneso's was not at home, thankfully, at the time of the killings, authorities said. According to incident reports released by the Lexington County Sheriff's Department, deputies had twice responded to the home in reference to calls from Reneso about Chavez in recent months. On November 14, 2016, deputies showed up at Reneso's rented home and were told Chavez had shown up threatening suicide. He reportedly told her, "I can't do this anymore. I'll see you in heaven," the incident report stated. He also allegedly showed Reneso a rope he had on the front seat of his vehicle before he fled the area. Deputies searched the area but could not find Chavez. They attempted to ping his phone, which was turned off. A call from Reneso to Chavez was not answered and went too straight to voicemail. Okay. Obviously, they didn't proofread this article. The report stated. The Sheriff's Department set out a be on the lookout and entered Chavez into a national database as a missing person, but never located him. And then on December 12th, deputies were called back to Reneso's household, this time for family offenses nonviolent, according to the incident report. According to the report's narrative, Reneso said she and Chavez had broken up 2 months earlier after living together. She confirmed that the couple had 2 children together and had recently started hanging out to allow the children to see their father. But on the night of the incident, Reneso stated Chavez had shown up unannounced and knocked on her bedroom window and asked her to come outside to speak about the relationship. The incident report read, Chavez, she stated, wouldn't leave until she called 911. The incident report concluded by stating Reneso was given a case card, a pink form, and advised on how to obtain this report. End of report. Paula Rockwell, a retired social services worker and advocate for abused women now living in Lexington County, said Wednesday the warning signs for potential violence of some sort were evident from the incident reports. The longing for her, the longing for his family, and just having some sort of connection. It's just there, she said. Most people will eventually deal with their failure to establish that connection, but a very few will simply snap. Without all the details, I can't place blame anywhere, though, than on the killer, she cautioned to add. He made the choice to act as he did. However, he obviously needed help, but likely just didn't know how to get it or even realize he needed it before it was too late for anyone to intervene. I have no way of knowing how his wife acted, though nothing would warrant her murder or killing her children in a million years, she added. We can't expect law enforcement to be omniscient in all of these cases either. They appear to have done their job based on these reports. I feel for them too. Both the Sheriff's Department and Coroner's Office continue to investigate the case. I would like to know more about what was in Mr. Chavez's mind so that maybe we could do a better job as a society to help prevent these tragedies, Rockwell continued. Otherwise, I think this underscores just how dangerous the world is for women, especially in South Carolina. According to the latest report from the Violence Policy Center, released in September 2016, the state was ranked 5th for its per capita rate of women murdered by men. Using 2014 statistics, South Carolina tallied 43 murders of women by men, or 1.73 homicides per 100,000 population. Of those murders, 63% were gun deaths. The ranking was an improvement over the previous year's study, however, in which South Carolina was ranked the nation's deadliest state for women. Hey, Hard Eyes. Hey, Nellie. So, again, here's one case, and I want to point something out to you, okay? And I wish this advertisement would really go away because it's really bothering me, but I don't see like a little X to like X out of it. What do you notice about this picture that's different from any of the minors in the Watts case? And I'll wait and I'll check out the chat. Want to see what you guys have to say about this picture. Hey, Becky. Hispanic is one. Yes, true. However, yep, exactly, Kelly. I'm assuming that this child whose face is blurred is the one that was not home when this murder took place. The reason why the other kids' faces are not blurred out for their protection is because they're no longer on this earth. When you're dealing with a homicide and murder case, and especially if the perpetrator or the convicted murderer is still alive, and especially when you're broadcasting it all over, like mainstream media, it's open to the public. All that body cam footage from the Watts case, Nicholas Atkinson's face should have been blurred out on the body cam. Madison Atkinson's face should have been blurred out on the body cam. I've been saying this for I don't know how long. It's another one of those, the bigger red flags in this case. One being that no one's personal information in this case was protected and redacted, whether it be Nicole Atkinson, whether it be Troy McCoy, whether it be any of the co-workers, whether it be McKenna Lindstrom. McKenna Lindstrom is a minor as well, and her name should not have been released. They didn't show her face, but for her protection, her name should not have been released to the public. But why? Why was it? Why is it that no one's personal information in the Watts case was protected? Because there's no danger to protect anyone from. It's more than likely that it's not even these people's real identities, to be honest with you. The neighbor kids on the body cam footage, their faces should have been blurred out for their protection because they're underage. Bella and Cece's didn't have to be, because based off of the official narrative, they're no longer with us. Huge red flag. And I hardly see anybody or hear anybody ever mention the fact that no one's personal information in this case was redacted out or protected for their privacy. Shenan's Thrive Friends. I mean, you name it. I'm not going to list all of them. You guys know. But look at this family. Like, honestly, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but why is it that Shanann, and I'm not saying that everybody thinks that. I'm just trying to make a point again. Why is it that one family's murders or deaths are more important than the others? Why? Because they're Hispanic or they're Honduran? Because their story wasn't broadcasted all over the world? I mean, do you guys see where I'm going with this? And just the fact of that I know, I'm not going to say in my opinion, I know the truth about the Watts case. And the fact that I do know that really breaks my heart even more for these children who are not being advocated for and whose memories are not being kept alive. Another case on that list, on that PDF, and maybe I'll read some of it. I'll post can I post the link of a PDF in the chat? I think I can. So that it's actually pretty interesting, considering that I think 3 out of the 39 family annihilators or familicide cases, 2 of them came from Chris Coleman and Chris Watts. So what are the odds that another case that I don't know enough about, but considering that it was so high profile and there were a lot of red flags in it, I just find it interesting that both didn't end up taking their lives after killing their entire family. So, okay, so this next case. Tempe police. Dad deliberately drove family into Tempe Town Lake. October 19th, 2015 was when this article was posted. Police describe video of apparent murder-suicide at Tempe Town Lake. Tempe Town Lake tragedy officially ruled murder-suicide. A father who was separated from his wife intentionally killed his family, including 3 small children, when he drove his estranged wife's SUV into Tempe Town Lake early Sunday morning, Tempe police have concluded. Police released a surveillance video obtained from a nearby condominium complex. Well, how convenient. They got security footage in this case, but nope, the Watts case, there wasn't. Either the security footage was broken, there was wasps on the neighbor's camera all over the lens so you couldn't see anything. Survey 319 was getting ready to be decommissioned, and it was an old well, so they didn't have security cameras there. Where else? No CCTV footage of the route that Chris took or Kessinger took. No airport footage. The Vivint security footage just so happened to be malfunctioning the entire time that Shanann was away, so we don't see any of that footage. How convenient, right? Yet police were able to obtain footage from a nearby condominium with this case. More than likely because it's a real case and it's not fake. It's not broadcasted all over, mainstream media to push some sort of agenda, and especially onto the true crime community. Police released a surveillance video obtained from a nearby condominium complex that they say shows Glenn Edward Baxter, 27, parking the silver Nissan Armada, strolling down a walking path to the lake, and then returning to the SUV. He walks down the path, said Lieutenant Mike Pooley, a Tempe police spokesman. He's looking for the path of least resistance. In the video, Baxter backs up the SUV, then makes a short right-hand turn before veering left into the lake. Pooley said the SUV hit a 1-foot-tall embankment near the lake, went airborne, and flipped into the water, which was about 6 to 7 feet deep. Here's the footage. Authorities identified the dead as Baxter, his wife, 25-year-old Danica Baxter, and their children, Rain, 3, Nazaya, 2, and Zariah 2, and Zariah, 1. A 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and a 25-year-old woman who was younger than Shanann. I haven't seen anything on social media from the date that these innocent people lost their lives due to a husband or boyfriend. I've been in the true crime community scene for a couple of years now, and I didn't see anyone advocating for this family. Why? What's more important about why is Shanann's death, Nico's death, Bella and Cece, let's just say I'm wrong, hypothetically. And this case really happened, right? The Watts case. And they really died. Still, what makes their deaths any more important than these children and this woman? Or in the previous case? Oh, bless you. My cat sneezed. Officers found Danica Baxter's cell phone under a nearby bench where they believe Glenn Baxter made a point to leave it. The cell phone contained a series of text messages that showed she was speaking with Glenn Baxter's mother about the possibility of dropping off the children, Pooley said. And if you'd like a brand new Cadillac for seniors, click here on this advertisement. The last text message was sent a few minutes before midnight Saturday. Police said the murder-suicide occurred at 12:15 a.m. Sunday. She was texting his mother saying, "Your son is upset," police said, but he added that there was no text indicating Danica Baxter had any suspicions about what police said happened next. Detectives looking into the deaths realized there had been a separation and that Glenn Baxter went to Danica Baxter's home Saturday night to talk about the children, police said. A family friend, Monica Lynn Nathan, said in an interview Monday morning that Danica Baxter was having divorce papers drawn up against Glenn at the time of her death. Nathan said she had been Danica's high school counselor in 2005 and had remained close with the younger woman who was like a daughter to her. Nathan had officiated at Glenn and Danica's wedding, and when their marriage crumbled, she helped Danica draft divorce papers. Nathan said she had urged Danica to get an order of protection, adding that Glenn Baxter had anger issues. Okay, so clearly from here, see, do you notice how we're getting a possible motives here as to why this guy could have possibly took the lives of his entire family? You have the relationship crumbling. It's on the rocks. She's clearly getting divorce papers. He has anger issues, so most likely there's something going on upstairs, right? But with the Watts case, we don't get that. Rourke didn't provide a definitive motive or some sort of logical motive as to why he did what he did. Besides, and it's funny what the reasons why they put in that PDF. And one of the reasons was to be with his mistress. So that mind you, he was only with for 2 months, if that. Take away all their time that they were working, and when he was in San Diego with Shanann, and then when he was in North Carolina, take that all away. It's like a month. I mean, really. And of course, they gave us the bankruptcy and the medical bills and the fact that maybe Shanann was a little bossy and Chris was an introvert, so maybe he bottled it all up inside and he just snapped. But even Rourke said that they don't have and they don't feel like they're ever going to know the reason why he committed what he did, and there's a reason for that. And I mentioned it before. It's because that would give us closure. And they don't want us to have closure. They don't want us to have some sort of understanding as to why Chris did what he did, compared to this guy who, like I said, seemed to have several motives based off what law enforcement says for why he did what he did and why he committed such a heinous act. But they want us to think that if someone like Chris Watts, and I know this sounds repetitive, but it's super important. They want us to think of someone like Chris Watts, who we see in all these videos as like a great father, all of the people, all the parties involved that did interviews in the discovery that were part of this case, had nothing but great things to say about the guy, wouldn't hurt a fly, great employee, great husband, great father. Even the Ruseks, great son-in-law. We loved him like a son. We can't even, it's hard to hate him, they said, pretty much. Not word for word. Nothing bad to say about the guy. So they want us to think, and mainly women, to think that if someone like Chris Watts can murder his entire family that showed no sign of, physical abuse, violence, no violent tendencies in his past, if he can up and one day just murder his entire family, then what's stopping your significant other, your husband, your close family member? It doesn't even have to be a husband. Anyone that you trust with your life, who's never laid a hand on you, who hasn't showed any violent tendencies, if someone like Chris Watts can do it, then what's stopping your person close to you that you trust with your life from doing it to you? They want us to constantly be living in fear all the time. They also want us to think that the only people that are trustworthy are law enforcement and the government. Well, that's just simply not the case at all. Does murder happen? Of course. But usually, for the most part, there's some sort of explanation as to why these individuals commit such heinous acts. And we just didn't get that with the Watts case. Buddy says hello. Hey Jen, good to see you. Hey lovely apples. And I mentioned it in, I swear that rooster. I mentioned it in previous live streams. Same with the Tristan Bailey case. There's so many red flags with that case. You have them streaming the funeral live for the whole world to see. Not the funeral, but the celebration of life, whatever they call it. Because you know what that does? It pulls at heartstrings, and it gets it out there to as many people as possible when you're streaming something like that. Just like the Rusek streamed the funeral on Facebook for the whole world to see. Whoever wanted to see it could watch it. But then they're going to turn around, contradict themselves, and say, hey, you're not allowed to talk about the case, but we're going to live stream it, the funeral, for the whole world to see, and go on Dr. Phil. And I'm not even going to get into that because that's not what is important, and that's not the purpose of this stream. The purpose of this stream is, again, who is advocating for these victims? Who is keeping their memories alive? The ones who don't make it and aren't plastered all over their story all over mainstream media. Yeah, it's not just in the morning. That's definitely that's not true. But I swear he knows. He'll crow, several times a day, but he does it at a distance. But once I start streaming, it's like he knows, and he'll just do it out right outside my window. He's not that close right now. You guys will know when he's closer, but like that. He's getting closer and closer. Yeah, possibly Lovely Apples to break up the family unit. Yep. Hey, Orbital. Okay, so that happened here in Arizona where I'm at, so. Oh, it looks like I used up all my, maybe not. Yeah, there's some of these websites where now you even have to pay for a subscription for, not saying this is fake news, but for like the Chris Watts stories, you even have to pay a subscription to get fake news stories, especially if you're looking on CNN or MSNBC, those ones. Okay, the next one, August 16th, 2016, so only 2 years before the Watts murders. DA, Burke's father killed his family of 4, then himself. Megan L. Short had started moving her belongings out of her sinking spring home weeks earlier, and on August 6th, she was going to begin a new life away from her abusive husband, authorities say. On that day, Short's mother and other family members waited at the new apartment in Yardley, Bucks County to help get the place arranged for her and her 3 children, 8-year-old Deanna, 5-year-old Mark Jr., and 2-year-old Willow. Short's estranged husband, Mark J. Short Sr., agreed to rent the moving van, authorities said, but it never showed up. Instead, investigators say Short Sr. shot and killed his 33-year-old wife, their 3 children, and the family dog in the living room of their home before turning the gun on himself. Short Sr., 40, left behind a suicide note explaining how he was emotional about the breakup of the marriage and admitted killing his family, Berks County District Attorney John Adams said Monday at a news conference that gave details and a timeline of how the tragedy unfolded. This was a very, very unfortunate incident, he said. I don't know if anything can be learned other than when leaving in an abusive relationship, it's often a very dangerous time for a victim. We urge anyone who is in that situation to develop a safety plan. The couple had been featured in news stories about their difficulties getting medication for Willow, who had a heart transplant when she was only days old. Very sad. Adams said an investigation discovered that the Shorts began experiencing marital problems and in June and were in the process of a separation. He said he is not sure what caused the problems. The investigation also revealed 2 domestic incidents between the couple that did not lead to charges. Security officers were called to the couple's Philadelphia hotel room on June 4th, but Adams did not have any details since it was never reported to police. On July 18th, Sinking Spring police were sent to the couple's home after Megan Short told police she and her husband had been arguing and she felt afraid. Short Sr. had left the house by the time police arrived and no charges were filed because there was no visible injuries to Megan Short. Officers told her how to obtain a protection from abuse order. She said she would, but never did, Adams said. She was given the appropriate information, but she did not apply for a protection from abuse order, Adams said. Officers did everything that they're legally able to do in that situation. The next day, Short Sr. bought a .38 caliber, 5-shot revolver, and ammunition from a gun dealer in Lancaster County. His wife signed the lease for the apartment days later. With his marriage seemingly over, Short Sr.'s work life also began to crumble. Another possible motive. Adams said he was demoted from his job as a loan officer on August 1st because of excessive absences. On August 5th, he took the children to Hershey Park as part of a work-sponsored family day, Adams said. His wife did not go. Megan Short arrived at the Sinking Spring home at 7:30 p.m. that day and parked her vehicle in the driveway behind her husband's vehicle. 4 hours later, she posted a message on Facebook. Neighbors say Megan Short had earlier posted on social media that she planned to leave her husband and needed help to move out the next day. Megan Short's family got worried when she never arrived at the apartment. One relative called a neighbor to check if she was still home. The neighbor saw the two vehicles in the driveway but could not get in contact with anyone inside. At 2 p.m. on August 6th, Megan Short's mother called police. Police forced their way inside and found everyone dead and a revolver next to Short Sr. A murder-suicide note was found in the dining room, and authorities say it was written by him, most likely after the killings of his family and the dog. In it, he admitted to buying a gun and killing his family, Adams said. The children, Adams said, were found in their pajamas with pillows and blankets around them as if they were having a sleepover in the living room. That's terrible. These children were young, and whenever you lose youthful, innocent human beings, it is never easy for a community to recover from that, he said. The fact of the matter is, it will be difficult, and hopefully we will remember those children for years to come. That's the problem. I've never even heard of this story. Years to come? No. The only family's memories family who's being remembered for years to come appears to be the Watts family. Why? Or any of these main, I don't even know if they're talking about Chris Coleman's family anymore. But, again, why is it that these, it said in this article, why is it that their memories are not being preserved and kept alive? Innocent children. A woman that was younger than Shanann. Or she might have been 33, but oh. Not sure what's going on with that. Oh, so probably on the... No? Oh, here we go.
This has been a arduous 2.5-year journey that we've had to take, always keeping Grace in the forefront of our minds. And I remember way back when on that cold night when we locked up Sullivan and his co-defendant, who was yet to be judged, but we hope will be tomorrow, Sarah Packer, that I asked the question rhetorically, who would speak for Grace? And I pledged that we would. And not only have we, but the jury of Bucks County citizens has judged and has spoke for Grace loud and clear and gotten her justice on this criminal case.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but that's sad too. I thought they were going to talk about the Short case. And again, all these stories I'm reading are on that PDF from 2009 to 2019. Father kills family itself in Maryland home. Sheriff. Okay, it's a weird title. Published April 18th, 2009. An accountant for a railroad operator killed his wife and their 3 children before fatally shooting himself in a Northwest Maryland home, leaving a gruesome scene that was discovered Saturday by the youngster's grandfather, authorities said. When investigators arrived at the 2-story home, the couple's 2 sons, ages 5 and 4, lay dead in their beds while the bodies of a 2-year-old daughter and the mother, Frances Bellotti Wood, were in the master bedroom, Frederick County Sheriff's Office spokeswoman Jennifer Bailey said. On the master bedroom floor by the foot of the bed was the father, 34-year-old Christopher Allen Wood, dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Bailey said. The 33-year-old mother and 3 children suffered traumatic cuts and each also had at least 1 gunshot wound from a .25 caliber handgun, Frederick County Sheriff Charles Jenkins said. Autopsies are being performed to determine the exact cause of death. The woman's father found them dead around 9 a.m. Oh my God, that'd be horrible. After forcing his way into the home, he went there worried because he hadn't heard from the family in several days. Not hours, several days. Christopher Wood apologized in one of 5 notes he wrote to family members and left at the scene, and he indicated in a note that he had psychiatric problems, Jenkins said. He wouldn't elaborate on what else was written in them. Jenkins also didn't specify a motive, but he said there was evidence that Wood, a sales accountant at CSX Corp., faced financial problems. We're all in shock and trying to come to terms, said Kevin Farmer, the pastor of Holy Family Catholic Community Church, where Francis taught, I'm totally going to botch this, catechism? Catechism? I'm going to have to look that word up later. I don't have my mini thesaurus around me. That's a hard word to say, too. Okay. He said the road the Woods lived on is a shortcut to the church, and he would often see the children while riding a scooter he uses when the weather is good, CNN reported. Good old CNN. They would always stop and wave and get big eyes as the scooter came by, he said. They were very happy kids. The family had moved to Middletown several months ago, friends said. It's a small community of less than 3,000 people, about 10 miles west of Frederick. Neighbor Peggy Lawrence described Frances Wood as a good homemaker and said she had grown up in the area. It wouldn't lead you to believe anything was wrong, Lawrence said. I'm still sick to my stomach. Just to see it end so quickly is so devastating. It makes you realize you never know what's going on in people's lives. And that's it on that story. I mean, that's it. Okay, take care, Nellie. Thanks for coming. Hey, Buttercup. So, I mean, that's really all I have. I just wanted to do that short stream. I guess it's under an hour, so it is one of my shorter streams. But again, I just wanted to make a point as far as so many people advocating for this one family, and again, who's advocating and keeping the other families who die in horrific ways all the time, innocent people all the time. Who's advocating for them and keeping their memories alive? So, if you're interested, I will be on DLive here shortly. Just got to get it set up. I will put my DLive link in the chat and I will pin it at the top. It only takes a couple minutes to sign up, and at least over there I'm able to, even though I've been more transparent over here, I can, show more videos that go over the a lot of the same things that I discussed as far as the symbolism goes. If I'm going to be able to talk, I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk for DLive, but the symbolism, the in plain sight, the other orchestrated events that are going on in this world, not just in the true crime community, other conspiracies, stand-up comedy, music videos, you name it. If you don't like what's in the title, then you don't even have to show up. But again, it's a good community over there, and I highly encourage you guys to at least check it out and see if you like it. So thanks again to everyone for being here, and I'll see you guys next time.